Hi, thank you for watching Cherie's weight loss journey. So, here's my thoughts for today. Um, I'm sitting here, you know, getting ready to call it a day. We had a lot of rain here. I did my lightweight exercises. I had to walk on the treadmill today because it was raining outside. I did cook another pot of beans. Yes, I did. Um, but one of the thoughts that had really bothered me was in this effort, to try to get women to be freed, right? Is I don't want them to spend 40 years lost in the wilderness. Or like when the slaves was free from the plantations, and they didn't know what to do with themselves. They were like, yeah, we're free, but what do we do? Who's gonna lead us? And it was just like, what? You're free. You're free. Right? The divine beings who were like not even realizing that while those years that they were sitting there hoping for their divine masculine to get there, it's like, but you're free. You no longer have interference between Mother, Father, God, and yourself. You can do whatever you want to do. And yes, you're going to have to go through a grieving period, right? And you're going to have to realize that you was never meant to be chained to another person. You came into this world by yourself, and you're going to leave this world by yourself. And the only thing that matters is the dash in between. What you do between the time that you're born and the time that you die. And you can't go through life, competing with other people, being validated by other people. Right? Because if you're lost in the wilderness for another 40 years, you're going to be 90 years old and die with regret of what you didn't do. Right? And those of you who have spent 2 years waiting on somebody to come back to you, you could have gotten your associate's degree and wrote a book on procrastination, waiting for somebody to come along and help yourself, come along and save you. But you're free. I'm telling you, you don't need saving. Okay? So in the black community, so many of them, they were like, well, we don't know what to do. We got kicked off of the plantation. The master said, he can't even keep us on his property because, they'll swear that he didn't release the slaves. So they built up little shacks here and there, and, and they're like, well, the only thing I know how to do is agriculture. So they thought it was clever. to continue being to be in the agriculture work, because that's all they knew how to do. It took them 40 years to even think about learning how to read. And I keep saying, education is power, and power is power. So now that you're free, you can educate yourself. So many of you are smart, but you just don't use your gifts. You're waiting for somebody to motivate you. Today I sent out a video, a 3-hour long video that stated, this is how to motivate the next 30 years of your life. And I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. This is what they need. They need motivation. Right? Then it was like, oh yeah, but you also need to send out another video. Right? For those of them that need, that suffered trauma or mental illness in the process of dealing with all of this mess. But listen, just because you have any kind of disease or disability, it doesn't mean that you can't learn how to work with that. And overcome life circumstances and still have a fruitful and happy life as a free, sovereign being. I mean, right now, it just really, irks me when they're sitting up there saying, oh, this was a false empress. We need the real empress to please stand up. Right? And I'm like, why are you guys clinging on to being led so hard? Stop with the slave mentality. Just stop it. Right? And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you need to realize that the reason why you're holding on to that slave mentality or feeling like you need to be led or follow somebody, that's something you're going to have to grieve. You're going to have to grieve that in order for you to be a free, sovereign person. And I feel bad for you, but you need to get some help. So that you can wake up every day and be glad that you're alive just because the sun rises. Or that you were able to see another sunset. Those of you who sat up here 5 years waiting for somebody to return back to you. And I'm like, why would you do that? And I understand why. You were conditioned to feel like you were supposed to be subservient to someone. You were conditioned that the only way that you would be accepted by God, because God is a man, is to have a man. But that's a lie. And it really bothers me. Right? Because the stagnancy where they're like, will the real empress please stand up? And I'm like, why do you need somebody to stand up for you? You done sat up here free all of this time waiting for somebody to return back to you, and you sustained yourself. You're free. Right? And I know, that's how I felt also, when the slaves was freed, and they wouldn't leave the plantation, or they wouldn't leave the field of agriculture, because they felt like that's all they could do, and that's all they knew how to do, and they didn't know how to, get an education, and they didn't know that education was power and empowerment and shit. Just realize you're free now. And if you're under 50, you definitely have time to get you a degree and to have a fruitful career. Now, if you're in your 60s, you closer to the tomb than you are the womb. But, you can still, enjoy hobbies, enjoy, retirement, enjoy traveling if you can. You know, stop making it seem like you have to be dependent on somebody to motivate you. Motivate your damn self. I had to say it because it was really getting on my nerves, right? I mean, it's one thing for you to come to the realization that, you know, oh, the emperor is false. Oh, the emperor is a tyrant. Oh, the emperor, is unempathetic. Okay, right? You could say the same thing about the empress. The empress is money hungry. The empress is selfish. The empress is not innocent, right? The empress supported, you know, the emperor. She enabled the emperor. Okay, but you're free now. What are you going to do with your freedom? And are you going to be lost in the wilderness? And how long you going to be lost there? Right? Don't let somebody come up into your life talking about, let's be in a relationship and not even give you a commitment. Right? And then here's another thing. Even in the Bible, even Jesus said, it's best to be by yourself. But if you must be with somebody, then get married. Right? But y'all are getting married to people who don't even love you, don't even like you. And you allow yourself to be chained to them like a slave. And then when you're free, you don't even know what freedom tastes like. And you're like, I don't want to be free. I want to have a divine masculine. I want to be a traditional wife. There was no traditional wife. And to sit up here over 40 years old thinking about that you just going to have you this wonderful companion. How? How are you going to have a wonderful companion when this man don't have time to spend with you? And you can't get no kids to keep yourself occupied. You just laying yourself up for a man that's going to bring you some illegitimate kids that you're going to have to take care of, and you're going to be his live-in nanny. Just stop it. Yeah, that made me a little mad to think that you feel like, well, since you can't have kids and you're older and and you want a man so bad that you just gonna have this man and allow him to to continue his infidelities and then bring you some kids home to raise for him. And then you're going to be crying the next 40 years talking about, he did me wrong. He was supposed to love me. He was supposed to be a fairy tale. Well, when you see that man that you think is supposed to be your divine masculine, you tell him you're a fairy tale that you're expecting of him. And don't you lie. and make him agree to it, and then sign a contract that he will provide that dream for you. I know you too chicken to do that, because you know that ain't gonna happen. So instead, you're gonna play these power struggles, these power games, these emotional manipulative games, trying to get your way. And he's gonna play him back. And if he loses, he's gonna hurt you. Anyway, I had to get this out. I had made me a small pot of 3-bean chili just in time for this cooler weather. Oh my gosh. Every time I eat these beans, like I said, the carbs, they're good carbs, but they're so good. They're so good. So I've been eating my 3-bean salad, my 3-bean chili today. I done had me about 3 bowls of that. Yeah. But I was good though. I didn't add no cheese. I didn't add no cheese to it. Okay? What else? I had some other things to talk about, but I think it was more important for me to let you know that now that you're free, have you a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a retirement plan. Okay? And stop thinking that these men are going to abide by a covenant they already broken. Right? That covenant that they was going to marry you and you were going to be the only love of their life. They were going to be monogamous and they was going to protect and provide. They didn't like it. That's why they beat you. That's why they tried to enslave you. That's why they just didn't like it. And don't be so quick to jump into another plan, especially if you're over 40. And if you got kids, at least try to leave your kids an inheritance yourself. That gives you something to live for, doesn't it? He might have too many families out there to leave your kids an inheritance. Too many kids. And they're all going to be killing each other for the inheritance that, if they was waiting for an inheritance from him. But you can leave them an inheritance because you're working. You got skills. And you can build. You don't need to follow an empress. You don't need to follow an emperor. You're free. I tell you, you're free. I don't know how emphatic I have to tell you. You're free now. Okay? Bye. Thank you for watching Cherie's Weight Loss Journey.